David Ryshpan for sortiesJAZZnights.com. We are here in Montreal with pianist and composer Tigran Hamasyan, who is in town for a 2-week tour of Quebec. Thanks for joining us, Tigran.
My pleasure.
And you're here touring your solo piano record of Fable. Mostly, you're performing a series of solo piano concerts. But you also have a new project on the horizon coming up?
Yeah, I have a new album that's going to come out I think end of summer, beginning of fall. It's with a band, 5 musicians, plus there's some guest artists on the album. And then end of this month, I'm going to have one song, like a single, that's going to come out it's going to be from that record, with a couple remixes by Prefuse 73 and LV from UK. And also we made an awesome film which was directed by Tigran Hamasyan. So that's going to come out like all together.
Now, is this the band? Is it the Errata Rebirth band, or is it the band from the EP, or a totally different band?
It's sort of the same configuration, except there's more people involved. But yeah, some of the music you could say it's going to be a little bit like the Red Tail music, but yeah, it's a little different. It's not as rock and roll as heavy metal. It's different.
On the album?
It's Nate Wood on drums. It's Sammy Nye and Chris Tordini on bass on different tracks. Areni Agbabyan on vocals. Ben Wendell is playing saxophones, bassoon. And then I have 2 brothers, cellist and violin player brothers that are from France. They're playing on a few of the tracks. And also I have Volatile, who was David Kilijan from Volatile, who worked on the electronica part of it.
And another part of your sound is exploring Armenian folk music, and you've done that more and more with the more recent records. You've been playing folk songs. Can you speak about how that tradition, how that music how you integrate it with the other work that you do.
Well, Armenian folk music is part of me. Just I grew up listening to it since I was a kid, and any folk music in general. I mean, not any, but like a few of them, like Swedish folk music, Norwegian folk music, Indian classical music, like African music. Those folk musics I grew up listening to a lot, and I'm still like discovering like day by day new things, and it kind of just became part of my music, you know. And I kind of approach. I arrange a lot of music, so like folk music or jazz standards or any melody basically. So to me, it's like all about melodies, and so if you have that approach to like arranging a jazz standard, or folk music, it doesn't matter what it is really. So as soon as it's like a beautiful melody that I like, I could arrange it, or like I actually write music. I write melodies that, if an Armenian guy heard it, and be like, oh, this is an Armenian folk music, folk song, but I wrote it. So it's just kind of like learning that language, and then incorporating it in a cool way.
And you've been working with, you mentioned Indian classical music, you've been working with Trilok Gurtu over the past couple of years. And you've also been working with Dafer Youssef and Hindi Zara as well, right? And, piano is not the principal instrument in North African music or Indian music. So how have you found a space in that music with those artists, with what you do?
Well, I guess it's like it comes from like me being really into the folk music in general, and I don't know. I mean, the way it happened with Duffer is he contacted me and we wanted to make a band, and we played, and it was, he came up with an amazing group, and it's all about the connection, maybe it's like a cultural thing, but yeah, I feel like all the knowledge I got throughout the years from like learning all the folk music and listening to it has somehow like connected with Trilok music and Dafer's music and Indi Zara's music.
On your band records, you're touring solo right now, but in your band, you've got Ben Wendell on reeds and Nate Wood on drums, both of whom are in Knee Body, and both of whom kind of split time between LA and New York. And I think here in Quebec and Montreal, we're more aware of the New York scene, but we're less aware of what's happening in LA. And you've spent a fair amount of time in LA, so can you talk about the scene there and what it's like?
Well, there's some incredible musicians that are coming out of LA. I mean, throughout the time I've been living in the US, there's always been incredible musicians that I met in LA, you know, or like when I was studying in LA. And there's still great musicians, even though like some of them went to New York, but some of them are not now coming back. But there's always incredible musicians coming out of that place. Yeah.